One man, one Murloc, one giant angry badger. This is Blue Please. It begins now. Yes, indeed, folks. Welcome to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. Welcome to the show. And yes, we are actually on air today, despite the website saying otherwise. Our website is in trouble for some reason. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. We think it's some kind of database error. We're getting it fixed over the next few hours. But it doesn't show Blue Please as being on the air. We are actually here. Guys, seriously, if you're listening to this thinking it's the 24/7 stream playing at Archive, no, I'm right here. Seriously. It's the 12th of September, 2008. You're listening to a live show. Yes, you are. Well, anyway, we'll get it all sorted out later. It's all good. I'm here. We've got a show for you, and it's going to be great, as always. Now, starting off the show with the mailbag, followed by a little bit of content that you may have heard about. PvE versus PvP, particularly PvE to PvP transfers. Drama! Oh, yes. Delicious drama. We must eat it. Of course, later on coming in the show, we'll have the one and only Nubcake News, and I'm going to be doing a section on Warhammer vs. WoW, a kind of a definitive, concise guide to those of you who may be thinking about picking up the game come Friday, I believe, is the launch date, next Friday, which is going to mean that I'm going to have to do Blue Please on the launch, aren't I? Thankfully, I have a 4-day head start because of my Collector's Edition, so I won't be too fussed about that. And besides, all the servers probably won't work. Anyway, so yeah, War vs. WoW, a objective comparison, or at least an attempt at it, from somebody who has played both. Now, later on the show, towards the end of the show, in fact, we'll have something that we like to call the illusion of choice. Yes, we do actually have a soundbite for this, and it's terrible. It's the illusion of choice. Awful! Absolutely awful. But yes, it is the illusion of choice, and you can email themurloc@gmail.com. That is themurloc@gmail.com for the illusion of choice. Now, the illusion of choice is pretty much what you think it would be. You get to email the topic in for the last section of the show. I will choose one of them, pretend that it was entirely random, and give you, of course, the illusion of choice. Now, if you want to email about anything else, feel free. Again, themurloc@gmail.com. That is the murloc@gmail.com. Now, before I kick into the mailbag this week, I would like to give a special thank you to all of you who have started donating since the campaign began last week to provide us with the funds that we need to broadcast BlizzCon. As of right now, we are sitting on $2,100. Yes! You guys are amazingly generous, I must say, and indeed, everyone who has donated gets entered into a prize draw to win my bear mount. Yes, that is the card with the bear mount on it, and indeed, probably access to a future beta as well. So yes, I'll be giving it away as a token of appreciation to one of you guys in a prize draw after BlizzCon has ended. Now, it will be great. If you don't already know what we're going to do at BlizzCon, this is what we're going to do. We are going to BlizzCon in force, indeed, probably one of the largest fan site showings that you are going to see there. They've been bringing, other fan sites bring maybe 3 or 4. We're bringing a bloody army of both listeners and hosts, and yes, we will be broadcasting the entire event. So those of you who do not have DirecTV or do not wish to pay for DirecTV footage, you'll be able to hear everything, absolutely everything, via an interactive schedule on our website. You'll be able to select anything you want to hear, absolutely anything. If it's live at the time, you get to tune into the live stream, and there'll be multiple channels available for everything that's going on. That means all the panels, all the interviews, all of our commentary, pundits, and all-round goofiness, all of the announcements, all of the big conferences, absolutely everything. We'll have everything live, straight to you. We'll be the first guys to get it out there. Yes, indeed. We will be faster than DirecTV. I can guarantee that. We have 6-second latency. I would like to see HDTV beat that. Yeah? So yes, we'll be providing the live free coverage for you. It'll be great, and if you miss anything, you're going to be able to click on it on the schedule, and you'll get sent straight to an archive. Yes, we're going to get the archives up straight away, snap, bang, fast upload, yes indeed, and you'll be able to listen to absolutely everything. We'll also be providing some high-definition video footage of various things, and indeed, that's what some of the money is going towards. We're buying one of these brand new Sony HD Handycams, which retail for just around $1,000. They can provide full high-definition footage, and we will be doing so. And yes, we'll be buying a tripod. I'm not going to trust any of the WoW Radio guys with their shaky hands. Sadly, apparently I need to hire a surgeon as a cameraman. Anyway, So yeah, that's what's going to be happening, and it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great fun. We'll all be there. I will be there, hell or high water, providing as much coverage as I possibly can, and we will have a studio out there. And I'd like to know if any of you guys actually want to meet up, because I no doubt there will be WoW Radio fans out there. We're already going to be meeting up with the guys from World of Warcast. That is Renata and Starman. Yes, World of Warcast, probably one of the only WoW podcasts I can actually stand listening to on a regular basis, just due to their professionalism and the actual amount of information they put out there that isn't complete crap. Now, we will be meeting up with them and probably their fan base as well around the time of the convention. We will be announcing relatively shortly when that will be. So yes, there will be a WoW Radio and probably World of Warcast as well fan meet at some point. So yeah, keep a close, keen eye on the front page. So anyone going to BlizzCon, we get to meet the WoW Radio hosts and hopefully have a rollicking good time. Yes, indeed. Now, that's all of that out of the way. That's all cool. That's all awesome. But this, quite frankly, is way, way more awesome because...
That sounds like it's mail time. Here's the mail.
It never fails.
It makes me want to wag my tail.
When it comes,
I want to wail.
Yes. 'Tis mail time, folks. Yes, indeed. It's the part of the show where we read your mail. And there was quite a lot of mail last week, so I'm going to select just a few of them. And this first one actually comes from a guy who calls himself Part-Time Hobo. And it's kind of a sad kind of notion here, but I'm going to read it out for you, just kind of out of respect of what he's about to do. And he says, "Greetings, Total Biscuit. Part-Time Hobo, retired warlock from Bone Chewer here. This week's show will probably be the last time I get to listen for a long time. I'll be serving a mission for 2 years in Boise, Idaho. I really enjoy your shows. I started listening to WoW Radio about 8 months ago when you were doing the Dungeon Master, and it made me start wanting to raid. I left my casual guild and my first raid I helped my guild down Solarian for the first time. By help, I mean I had to get as many soul shards as possible so I could summon everyone that couldn't be resurrected, so we didn't have to re-clear trash. I remember someone telling me that if I released from my body, I would be kicked on the spot. Raiding was probably the best social gaming experience ever. I made it to Gorfiend before I had to quit. Anyways, I have a few questions for you. When did you start gaming and decide to support it as much as you do? And what are your thoughts on people who have negative views of gaming as a waste of time and money? I hope to see WoW Radio still going when I get back, but as you said, who knows? I hope to get more involved in the community. I only play one game of Warcraft 3 with Dustin, and it involved some RPG I've never played, and we all died. So thanks if this gets read on air. So long, that's Part-Time Hobo. Now, I have no idea for what he's actually serving a mission for. I assume maybe it's National Guard or some kind of army thing. I don't know. He didn't tell me. Either that or he suddenly decided to become a travelling monk. One way or the other, we will miss you, as we do as any listeners, and hopefully you come back safe and sound. So from all the guys at WoW Radio, stay safe and don't get horribly eaten by any big monsters or anything. Always good. Now, he asked an interesting question then. I'll try and answer it briefly because I don't really want to go off on a tirade because it would last pretty much all day. Now, when did I start gaming? When I was 3 years old. When did I start to support as much as I do? Probably when I was 3 years old when I decided to like it. My thoughts on people who have negative views on gaming as a waste of time and money. Well, to be brutally honest, a hobby is a hobby is a hobby. And the thing about gaming, particularly in the modern world with voice over IP, massively multiplayer chat forums and all this other kind of stuff, is that gaming has become a way more social experience than it used to be. Multiplayer gaming has got incredibly popular via Xbox Live, via PC, via PlayStation Network, and when you can eventually get it working on the Wii. And for me, particularly massively multiplayer games are a different kind of social experience to the normal. They have emerged as a direct result of technological development rather than the evolution of the species as such. But in my opinion, they are a natural step, not up, but sideways from your normal run-of-the-mill social interaction. In my opinion, humans are very, very social creatures, incredibly social creatures, and they will use whatever means they can get their hands on to socialize with other people, whether that be letters, email, carrier pigeon, telephone, whatever it is. And to be honest, if you view that as a waste of time, then that really is your opinion, but a hobby is a hobby is a hobby, and you don't really have the authority by any stretch of the imagination to condemn what other people do for fun as long as it's not harming anybody else. So yeah, seems to me that a lot of people are stuck in the past, and if they're not viewing gaming as a legitimate art form as such, then they should probably throw away their televisions, radios, CDs and books as well, because it's the same thing in a different medium. Now, I've had quite a few emails regarding Recruit a Friend, actually, and I had one here from a guy by the name of Rally, and he says, "Hey TB, just wanted to send you a wall of text regarding the current season of Blue Please. I've really enjoyed the show more this season than any other, especially the past 2 weeks. I have often disagreed with your opinions, but lately I find myself in agreement with your points. Just to point out for people, that doesn't actually make the show better. It just happens that I happen to be saying the same thing as you think. I prefer that everyone actually disagreed with me and sent me some awesome emails, but there you go. Never mind, can't have everything. Now, specifically, I had wanted to write regarding the Recruit a Friend program, which I've been enjoying over the past month. I'm dual boxing some alts on my main account and a second account. I had been planning on starting a second account at the end of August, so the timing was great. I was surprised that you were in favour of the program, and glad to hear the following week that you are enjoying the benefits with your friend. I too was taken aback by the WoW Insider negative posting about this program for the same reasons you mentioned. Someone who is not even participating in the program, etc. While I enjoy reading WoW Insider and friends with one of the staff members, they have miles to go in terms of their relationship with Blizzard. Now, I mean, that's kind of a little bit unfair to WoW Insider there. You don't have to have a relationship with Blizzard to be a fan site. For God's sake, we didn't for an awful long time. And I've been an advocate of saying, hey, independent media. Now, personally, I don't like to have my opinions affected by the fact that we happen to have some ties with Blizzard now as an official fan site. And indeed, they respect our individuality, they respect our journalistic integrity, quote-unquote, and they respect the fact that we might not necessarily like everything they do. So, again, WoW Insider disagreeing with stuff, that's their opinion, that's, to be honest, fine. I would prefer them over the millions upon millions of sites that do a little bit more than regurgitate what might as well be an RSS feed off of worldofwarcraft.com. At least they produce some original content. Now, regarding the WoW Insider article lauding the removal of World First Feats of Strength, I had been somewhat conflicted on this, but really had not thought it through until you discussed the topic. So upon listening, I realised that I'm one of those people who would push to be first to 80. I would not make it because I have a job, a life, and friends that I play with that slow down my pace. So the removal of these titles is another interesting turn in the tide of the game. Yeah, I mean, it is an interesting turn. I mean, I don't think everyone really got it last week. I mean, there's been a thread on the forums about the mention that I made last week of the removal of those titles. I don't think everyone really understands where I'm coming from, because as usual, I'm pretty clumsy when it comes to ranting, and sometimes I end up being a little bit off message. Now, the reason I do not like the fact that they have removed these titles is that it shows that they will willingly cave into whiners, and whiners who don't even have a good point to make. And it is whining. I mean, removing those titles and caving into, people saying, oh, well, I don't want these guys to have these titles, is whining. There are many legitimate playstyles, and there are many illegitimate playstyles, but most playstyles, as long as they're not harming anyone else overtly, are legitimate. Now, if people want to rush to 80 and skip the content, that is entirely their business. Their subscription, their choice, and you know what? I would rather do the same thing, because having now played the level 80 pre-mades, yes, I've actually got a level 80 pre-made now, and I'm playing a Frostfire build, which is quite frankly hilarious. And we've actually been running some instances, so yes, if you guys want another video, I've got one coming soon of Caverns of Time Stratum. Yes, we do, and that should be out very, very soon indeed, hopefully over the weekend. And I found that, yeah, I'm really loving the game again. And I wasn't loving it quite as much when I was playing at level 70 and leveling up, because I never liked leveling up, especially not the pace that they try and make you do it. I mean, right now in beta, you have to go through so many quests and so many areas, and I'm not interested. I like dungeon crawling. I've always been a dungeon crawler at heart. I'm the guy that used to enjoy playing Angband and roguelike games, yeah? I played NetHack, I played Moria, Umoria, NetHack, Zangband, everything, all of those different games. And all of those games do is killing monsters, killing bosses and getting loot, and that's all there is. There isn't a storyline, there's no complex quest lines. You go into the dungeon, you go further into the dungeon, it gets harder and harder and harder, you get loot, you kill stuff, and that's it. I've always been a big fan of that kind of genre of game, and to me that's what instances are, and that's why instances are so interesting, because you get to do all of that with a bunch of friends, and you have to be, very, very careful about what you do and work as a team. So ultimate co-op experience for me, big fan of that. Not so much a bigger fan of leveling up, but again, it's a means to an end. I'm sure I can deal with it. So yeah, you've got to realise that not everyone thinks the way you do, and whining and having stuff removed is actually counterproductive, because what happens when this, we've now seen that Blizzard will cave into whiners, so what happens when a different group of whiners, whines about something that you personally like, and Blizzard caves into them too? How are you going to think? Just consider it very, very carefully before you launch an attack on something that doesn't happen to be what you want in the game, but doesn't actually adversely affect you, and all you end up doing is taking out something that someone else was kind of looking forward to, I'd feel pretty bad about that if I'd done that, to be honest. I'd have a little bit of a sick-to-my-stomach kind of feeling. So, there you go. Now, I've got one last email there. Recruiter friend multi-box, actually. And it's interesting. The topic of multi-boxing is something I've always been intrigued by. As to whether or not I actually support it, I really don't know. I haven't come down on one side of the fence or the other. I suppose that is okay. Do I really have to have a firm opinion on everything? But anyway, this is one guy by the name of Mage. Not particularly descriptive there, but never mind. He says, Dear TB, a little over a week ago I decided to try out the Recruit a Friend program. Unfortunately, I couldn't get any friends I knew to start playing or get a second account. The leveling benefits were enough for me to want to level up new classes that I had only touched on previously, so I went ahead and recruited myself with a second account. Taking it one step further, I started to research how to multi-box in order to level them up together while using them both rather than just having one toon follow the other. Just by using Key Clone and the 2-box toolkit, I leveled a Shaman Mage combo to 20 in only a few hours played. I was using the Shaman on the new account as my main and the Mage on my veteran account as my quote, bot, unquote. Several times my Shaman would get much further ahead in level due to the amount of extra class quests it received for totems. This was annoying at first until I remembered that I could just grant a level to my Mage since it was on my old account. I could see myself leveling these characters to 60, which is when the XP buff goes away, and then start on another pair before the 90-day benefits wear off. I've only focused on one character previously, and with this friend program I could see myself having fun on multiple characters that I can then choose from with the Wrath release. And yeah, I think, that's a really valid point there, so we're just going to talk about it very briefly in the last 15 seconds before I play some music. With all of the class changes, it seems to me that not everyone is going to want to play the class that they actually rolled in the first place. Think of Recruit a Friend as a little bit more choice for those who don't necessarily want to play their class anymore in Wrath. I'll be right back after this break, folks. This is a little punk track by the name of I Am the Ambassador. The band name is The Vandals, and I will be right back after a couple of tracks of this music break, and we'll be talking about PvE to PvP transfers. My name is Total Biscuit. This is Blue Please on WoW Radio. The Vandals, I Am the Ambassador.